Hello everyone and welcome to the World of Wrestling podcast. I'm Slim. Once again, Carl couldn't be here. Hopefully he'll be back next week, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So this week is a little bit different because Impact's having a pay-per-view, but they decided to split that up into 2 weeks and have it over 2 episodes of Impact. So we'll start this week off with Impact Rebellion Night 1. The show starts with a video package welcoming us to Rebellion. We then get the first match of the night, which is OVE vs Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, and a mystery partner who is revealed to be a returning Crazy Steve. The match was alright, it wasn't anything great. It was alright. Rhino pinned Dave Christ for the Gore for the win. So, the returning superstar got a win for his return match. So that was quite obvious. We then got a video package with Eddie Edwards, who says he still wants the Impact World Championship. Then a backstage interview with Michael Elgin, who says he also wants the Impact World Championship. What was going to happen was Eddie Edwards was going to take on Michael Elgin and Tessa Blanchard in a triple threat match for the Impact World Championship on the show, but Tessa Blanchard is stuck in Mexico and Eddie Edwards decided to stay home with his wife and kid, or kids, I don't know if he's got multiple. So they aren't having the World Championship on the pay-per-view. But after that backstage interview, we get the Rascals vs XXXL, or Triple XL, versus TJP and Falama. It was actually a really, really good match. It was very fun. I was quite enjoying it. The Rascals picked up a win after Dez hits a spinal tap on Larry D of XXXL for a 3 count. After that, we get a video from the North who say they're stuck in Canada. Well, they're not stuck in Canada because Canada's better than America. But they're in Canada and they'll defend the Impact Tag Team Championships against the best team Canada has to offer, and that will be shown on an Impact episode in the future. We then get a interview with Willie Mack and Rich Swann. Willie Mack says that it sucks that they aren't challenging for the tag titles, but Rich Swann turns to him and says that they should be, but that's in the past, it's okay, and Mack's going to win the X Division title tonight. After that, we get the X Division title match with Willie Mack taking on Ace Austin. It was a great match. It was really entertaining, like the triple threat tag match was. Willie Mack won by pinfall after hitting a 6-star frog splash. Rich Swann comes out to celebrate afterwards, and then they go to the back and we get a backstage promo with Willie Mack and Rich Swann. They talk about winning the title. They talk about celebrating, and then they say about winning the tag titles, so Willie Mack can be a double champion. They're talking about all that, and then Johnny Swinger shows up to celebrate, and he also says that he wants the X Division title. Up next is Kylie Ray versus Kiera Hogan. It was a decent match. It was alright. It was decent. It was better than the open match. Kylie Ray won by submission with the smile to the finish, also known as the STF. It's main event time for night 1, and it's an unsanctioned match between Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. It was a decent match as well. It was alright. It didn't go as long as I thought it would have. But then again, Ken Shamrock is old. They started fighting on the outside. I don't think the match ever actually touched the ring, because as Ken Shamrock was making his entrance, Sami Callihan dove out of the ring. So that's the closest to the ring it got. They ended up fighting backstage, and when they did that, it went into being very produced, like what the Boneyard match was. It was, which didn't really enhance the match. It made it feel weird, like what Boneyard match and the Five Black Ice match were. But because it didn't go as long as what they did, it didn't feel right. And there was one part that was very weird, where OVE got involved to help Callihan, but in the end Callihan attacked them, and that was weird. But they ended up going outside to the parking lot or wherever, and Shamrock won by submission with the ankle lock. But Sami Callihan didn't tap out, he decided to pass out instead. So that was night one of Impact Rebellion. It was alright, it wasn't great. There was 2 good matches, and the rest of them were pretty shitty. But we'll move on to Raw anyway. The show starts with a recap of what happened in the main event of Raw last week with Andrade and Rollins. Then Drew comes out, talks about Rollins, then he challenges Rollins to a WWE title match at Money in the Bank. And yes, Drew decided that he would challenge Rollins instead of Rollins challenging him. A little bit weird, but yeah. He then talks directly to Rollins, and as he's doing that, looking down the camera and everything, Zelina Vega, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory come out. Vega says that they're sick of McIntyre's rah-rah speeches, and Andrade attacks McIntyre from behind. But McIntyre gets the upper hand, hits a Claymore on Andrade. The others, Vega's trying to send the others into the ring, but they're nah, we're not doing that. We're not stupid. If we get in the ring, we're going to get killed. So while they're standing there going, we're not getting into that ring, McIntyre does the whole Claymore countdown and hits another Claymore on Andrade. After that, we get Austin Theory versus Aleister Black in a Money in the Bank qualifying match, and Zelina Vega's on commentary for this. It was a very good back and forth match. Black was always in. He had the match, and he was always 2 steps ahead of Theory, but there were a few spots where it seemed like Theory might be starting to come out on top, but eventually Black won with the Black Mass. Black then has a post-match interview, and he says that he's going to win Money in the Bank. After that, we get Shayna Baszler. During her entrance, she was asked if she took her match last week a little bit too far. She turns around and says, well, I didn't break any rules, so no. We then get Shayna Baszler versus Indi Hartwell. Baszler won at the squash match. She won the same way as what she did against Logan, but after the match, she attacks Indi Hartwell with a ladder. Afterwards, we get Cedric Alexander and Ricochet versus Shane Thorne and Brandon Vink. It was yet again another squash match, pretty much. Well, it wasn't a squash match, but you knew that Thorne and Vink weren't going to win. So yeah, Ricochet and Cedric won. It was a fun match. Kabuki Warriors then have a backstage interview. Then Lashley has a video where he says he's going to flip a tire when he's warmed up, and then we get Kairi Sane versus Nia Jax. Pretty much a squash match for Nia. Sane at one point started the comeback, but Nia wins with the Annihilator. Nia did also, I don't think Kairi got injured from it, but it was very, very dangerous. She picked her up in sort of a bear hug sort of thing, and then threw her off. She was meant to land in the turnbuckles, but she caught her head on the bottom turnbuckle because Nia was too far away. We then get another recap of what happened at the end of Raw last week. Then Rollins has a video package where he says he respects Drew and accepts his challenge. So we get Rollins versus McIntyre for the WWE title at Money in the Bank. That is confirmed. We then come back from a break and the Viking Raiders are driving down the road singing a Viking Raiders version of the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song. And I was sitting there going, what is this? And why is it the Viking Raiders doing it? It was very, very weird. And I think they're starting to bury the Viking Raiders. And I don't know why. After that, though, we get Apollo Crews versus MVP in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Before the match, MVP cuts a promo saying he's going to beat Crews. We then have a very good back and forth match. MVP almost wins with the Playmaker, but Crews kicks out at 2. Crews then hits a series of power and athletic moves to pick up the win. We then get Ruby Riott backstage. She's having an interview and she's asked about the Riott Squad. Ruby Riott says she had to carry Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan, and she's sick of that and she's going to go and beat Liv Morgan tonight. Very curious that they mentioned Sarah Logan since she was fired, but I've heard that they're still using Maverick and Logan until their 90 days are up. Because they've got 90-day non-compete clauses. After that promo, we get Ruby Riott versus Liv Morgan. It was pretty one-sided for Ruby Riott. Liv would get in some offense, but Ruby always stopped her. And then as Ruby was about to win, Liv Morgan hit the jumping flatliner off the ropes for the win. Came in another, it was cool. We then cut back to Lashley, who flips the tyre. It was just, a tyre, he flipped it. We then get Buddy Murphy versus Rey Mysterio in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Rey Mysterio go back and forth. During the match, Rey says something's wrong with his finger, and Murphy takes advantage of it. Then it's a very back and forth match. It was probably match of the night. Rey wins after Canadian Destroyer 619 frog splash 1, 2, 3. Backstage, we get an interview with Zelina Vega and Angel Garza. They just say what they always say. We then get Charlotte versus Kayden Carter. Don't know why Charlotte's still on Raw. I think she's NXT champion, but whatever. It was a short back and forth match. Carter gets an octopus at one point, but Charlotte eventually locks in the figure 8 for the win. Lashley's back yet again and is trying to flip an even bigger tyre, which turned out to be a monster truck tyre. It takes him 3 tries before he gets it. Then we get yet another recap, but this time of what happened at the start of the show with McIntyre and Andrade. And then Andrade comes out and he's versing Akira Tozawa. It was a great back and forth match. Andrade wins with the rope hung DDT, or the rope hung hammerlock DDT. Then the Profits come out to be on commentary for Bianca Belair versus Santana Garrett. It was a squash match. Belair won. Then it's main event time for Raw, and it's Drew McIntyre versus Angel Garza with Zelina Vega, Austin Theory, and Andrade. Match starts pretty much on McIntyre. There's distractions on the outside, but Drew keeps control through him. Garza manages to drive Drew into 2 ring posts, and that's what helps him gain control, but Drew just takes it back. As he goes for the Claymore, Garza escapes and dives over the top rope. Garza escapes and Drew dives over the top rope. Then he Claymores at Theory, chucks Andrade over the barricade. Then gets back in the ring, hits a couple of moves, and then a Claymore for the win. Post-match, Drew hits Claymore on Garza again. Theory rolls in the ring, gets Claymore again too. Drew then lays on the ramp and does the Andrade pose as the show that fades to black. Nothing else to black. Then we'll go to Being the Elite. It's episode 200. There's only one match, and it's Matt Jackson versus Nick Jackson, a Falls Count Anywhere match. As Matt makes his entrance, Nick attacks him. They fight in the tennis court, and they go all over the BTE compound. It was a great match, very back and forth. Didn't touch the ring at all. But I don't even think we saw the ring. The finish comes when Matt puts on a shoe, and the base of the shoe is covered in thumbtacks. Matt then hits 2 super kicks, which sends Nick off the deck that they were standing on. Matt then hits an elbow drop on Nick for a 3 count. Like I said, it was a really good match. Nick admits that he's still not 100%, but I guess he's good enough to match. Then we'll go to AEW Dark. To kick it off, we have Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford with Kip Sabian. Back and forth technical match. Anna Jay has control over the match for most of it until Kip Sabian gets involved. The match goes back and forth again for a little while before Penelope Ford wins with a bridging fisherman suplex. After that, we get a Double or Nothing promo, and then back to the ring for the main event, and it's Joe Alonzo versus Cody with Brandy Rhodes. Before the match starts, Cody shakes the ref's hands, and he also shakes Joe's hands. The match starts with Me the Man gaining control until Cody hits a power slam. Cody keeps control for the rest of the match, and Joe is forced to tap after Cody locks in the Gale lock. Joe and Cody then shake hands after the match. It was pretty good, actually. We'll move on to Dynamite, and Dynamite starts with a video package of Cody running through the entire competition in the TNT tournament. He also states why he needs to win the tournament, and it was weird to start with that, because that was the first shot we got, and it was weird. I sat there going, what's going on? We then cut to the actual arena. Y2J's on commentary again. He and Tony then run down tonight's card. And the first match of the night is Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin in a TNT Championship Tournament match. Before the match, we get a video package with Sammy and Darby. They get individual video packages. And then before the match even starts, Sammy starts attacking Darby. Hits a splash on Darby, who was on top of a ladder that was bridged in between the ring apron and the barricade. The match then starts when Sammy tosses Darby in the ring. Darby goes after Sammy's left foot, and in the end, Darby wins with the Last Supper. It was a great match. We then get a message from Matt Hardy, who says that he hasn't heard from Y2J, but he said that Sammy can fight him if he wants, because Sammy seems to think that he can beat Matt. A weird part happens where it cuts to normal Matt, who says that Jericho can't beat the Elite. Up next is Kenny Omega versus Alan Angels. Before the match starts, Taz runs down Omega's moveset. The match was really, really good. Angels had an amazing showing and almost won multiple times and kicked out of a V-trigger. That was surprising. Omega hit a second V-trigger for the win though. Then we get a video package about Scorpio Sky detailing his life. We then get Dustin saying that if he doesn't beat Kip tonight, he retires. Then we get Jimmy Havoc versus Orange Cassidy with Trent and Chuck Taylor. Havoc attacks Orange from behind for the bell, uses Orange's clothes to choke him. It was a very good fun match. The ending comes when Penelope Ford attempts to distract Orange before the best friends get involved, which causes Kip Sabian to take them out. And Orange gets out of the way of Penelope Ford, and that distracts Havoc, who gets rolled up for a 3 count. After the match, Kip and Havoc attack Orange before the best friends run them off. MJF then provides us with an update on his injury. He says that his injury is life-threatening, and it's a hangnail because he's salt of the earth. Then we get Wardlow versus Lee Johnson in a squash match. Wardlow won with the F10. Then we get a video package for someone joining the Dark Order, and Brody Lee's talking to them to initiate them. Then we get Justin Law versus Brody Lee. Yet another squash match. Brody Lee wins with the discus clothesline. We then get a backstage interview with the best friends. It was really weird the way that they worded this. Trent said that he'll fight both Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc, and it sounded like he meant at the same time. But I think that he meant it as in separate matches, and I don't see why they don't just do a tag team match. So Trent could have just said that him and Chuck were taking on. I don't know, it was weird. We then get the next episode of The Bubbly Bunch. Then after that, we have a video package with Dustin and Kip talking about their match. And then it's main event time. It's Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford versus Dustin Rhodes, not Dusty, Dusty's dead, with Brandy in a TNT title tournament match. And if Dustin loses, he retires. It was yet another great match. There was a lot of really good wrestling on this show. Dustin wins with the Code Red, which is his Canadian destroyer. And that means that he moves on to the semis to take on Lance Archer. So we know who's going to win that match because Lance ain't losing. NXT is what we move on to now. And the show kicks off with a missing Finn Balor, and due to him being missing, Regal takes him out of the main event against Dream. Dream then comes out to the ring during Finn Balor's entrance. Dream then starts to talk, but gets interrupted by Adam Cole. Cole then says that Dream is trying to weasel his way into a title shot, and he also states that he thinks Dream attacked Balor so that he would win their match. Era then attacked Dream. Keith Lee makes a save and takes out all 3 members of the Era. Kyle O'Reilly wasn't there again this week. Don't know why. We then get Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. The match was alright, mostly a 2-on-1 because it was all about Nox and Shotzi trying to beat Gonzalez. In the end, Shotzi got pinned by Gonzalez after a 1-arm powerbomb. We then get Jake Atlas versus Drake Maverick in a tournament match for the Cruiserweight title. It was a great match. It was very, very good. It was a match that felt like Maverick needed to win. Atlas had a great showing, and Atlas also got the win with a cartwheel DDT on the top rope. So he was standing on the top turnbuckle, and he did a cartwheel across the rope, and as he came off that, he DDT'd Maverick for 3. Post-match interview with Atlas was after that. He says that he feels bad for beating Drake, but he also says that he's going to win the Cruiserweight title. We then get a video package next with Damian Priest saying he wants the North American title, and that Keith Lee hasn't ever pinned or submitted Priest, but Priest has pinned Keith Lee, which is true. Every time Priest and Lee have had a match, Lee hasn't gotten the win on Priest. Even in the triple threat match that Lee won, he pinned Dijakovic. So that's true. We then get Kushida versus Tony Nese in a tournament match for the Cruiserweight title. After Kushida's entrance, we get a video package for Kushida, so he's going to win the title. And during Nese's entrance, we get a video package that says he's going to win the Cruiserweight title. It was a very good, fast-paced match, very hard-hitting as well, very technical as well. Kushida won by submission with the flipping Sakuraba lock from the top rope. Backstage interview with Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher now. The interview was pretty much Riddle on drugs, saying that all this shit. It was weird. It was Matt Riddle talking in Stoner Talk, pretty much. He was talking about Timothy Thatcher's blue eyes, but Timothy Thatcher has brown eyes. But mainly what Riddle was saying is that they're going to have a match next week. Then Karrion Kross and Scarlett have a video package, which is Killer Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux from Impact. We then get another video package with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. Gargano says that his entire life has been a fairy tale, but he and Candice are now living in the real world and not a fairy tale. He also says that NXT is toxic because bad guys get the success and the good guys get beat up. Candice then says that they've both been unappreciated and she's no longer going to be the big sister in the locker room. Gargano then follows that up by saying that from now on they're going to take what belongs to them and they're going to tear NXT down and remold it under their image. Then we get a video package with Io Shirai saying she's going to beat Charlotte for the NXT Women's Championship. We then get an interview with Drake Maverick, who says Jake Atlas is great, and he also says that everyone might be right about him, and that he's a loser and whatnot. We then have Mia Yim versus Jessi Kamea. It was a short match, wasn't quite a squash match, but Yim was always going to win. She did with the protection net for a 3 count. After the match, Charlotte shows up and asks Mia if she'll accept the challenge that she put out there, which was to have her first match back at NXT against Mia. Mia accepts the challenge and says next week she's going to make. Charlotte then says next week she's going to make Mia a good hand before leaving. We then get Jack Gallagher versus El Hijo del Fantasma in a tournament match for the Cruiserweight title. Before the match, we get a video package for Gallagher, which says he's going to win. The match was great. Fantasma wins with a Samoan Driver for 3 count. He had a post-match interview, but it was entirely in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. Not fluently, anyway. Before the main event, the guys who kidnapped Mendoza and Wild attempt to kidnap Fantasma, but he fights them off, and they drive away empty-handed. We now get the main event, which is Velveteen Dream and Keith Lee versus Adam Cole and Roderick Strong with Bobby Fish. Match starts with Era trying to jump Dream and Lee, but doesn't work, and Fish gets barred from ringside straight away. And while that's happening, Priest hits Lee in the throat with his nightstick twice, and back to the break. It's now 2-on-1. Yeah, I know. It's still labelled as a tag team match, but Dream and them partner. But then, out of nowhere, Dexter Lumis shows up and decides he's the tag team partner for Dream, and the ref lets it happen. So, it was weird. Dream and Lumis win after Dream hits the Purple Rainmaker on Cole for a 3 count. Yeah. Dexter Lumis is a weird dude. Weirdo dude. Like, he's weird. and the way he just showed up out of nowhere to be tag team partners with Dream was weird. I thought he was a heel, maybe not. I don't know, weird. We'll move on to NXT UK. This week's NXT UK is about the Volta vs Tyler Bate match at Takeover Cardiff. So there's people that talked about the match, and the match was also shown. So not a whole lot that we haven't already seen. We move on to SmackDown, and the show starts off with a video package saying we're going to celebrate 25 years of Triple H tonight. And then the show actually starts with the New Day. We get a recap of E winning the tag belts next week. New Day then cuts a promo talking about winning the belts for the 8th time. Lucha House Party interrupt and say they want to challenge for the belts. Then Miz and Morrison interrupt. They say that the New Day have never beaten them in a tag team match and they want the belts back because they never lost the belts in a tag team match. Lucha House Party then get in the ring and Metalik says something in Spanish before the Forgotten Sons show up. They say that everyone will know who they are when they win the tag belts. There's a massive brawl that starts, and at the end of it, the Sons stand tall. When the brawl started, the Lucha House Party sort of went after Miz and Morrison, but they managed to get out of there, and so they were standing at the top of the ring. Yeah. Then backstage, Miz and Morrison say that they're going to get a match and beat up Lucha House Party tonight. Next, we get Drew Gulak with Daniel Bryan versus King Corbin in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. There's lots of qualifying matches. We've got TNT tournament matches, which is essentially a qualifying match. Cruiserweight Championship tournament, which is also essentially qualifying matches. And Money in the Bank qualifying matches. The match was pretty good. It was very much Corbin in control, but Gulak would fight back. End of the match came when Nakamura and Cesaro took out Bryan. That distracted Gulak, who then got hit with the End of Days. Then Corbin got 3 count. After the match, Cesaro and Nakamura held up Gulak, and Corbin hit him in the head with the scepter. Cole and Graves had talked about Gronk going back to the NFL, but he still has to defend his title. Then we get Sheamus versus Daniel Vito. It was a squash match. Sheamus won by pinfall after the brawl. After that, Cole once again starts talking about Jeff Hardy. The third video package for him starts. Sheamus wasn't very happy. It's shown that he's still there. Like they'd gone to break and everything after it, and they came back and he was still standing there, arms crossed, looking at Cole like, I'm gonna kick you then. Up next is Miz and Morrison versus Lucha House Party. It was a decent match. Miz and Morrison were in control for most of it. The finish came when Miz went for skull crushing finale, but Metalik rolled it up for a 3. It was surprising that Lucha House Party won. They shouldn't have, because Miz and Morrison are the best and shouldn't lose. We then get Sasha Banks with Bayley versus Lacey Evans in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. It was a good match. Bayley cost Sasha by getting involved and distracting the referee. Sasha had a pin for like 5 seconds while Bayley was distracting the ref. After that, Lacey turned around, hit a second women's right, and won by pinfall. After the match, Sasha and Bayley were leaving, going up the ramp, when Tamina attacked Bayley with a super kick, and Sasha just sort of looked at Bayley, looked at Tamina, and walked it back anyway. After that, we get a video package showing the history between Bray and Braun. We then get a recap of the Mandy and Otis Ziggler Sonya stuff. Then there's a backstage promo with Carmella and Dana, and they say that they're going to win the tag belts tonight. And they also talk about how Carmella has a Money in the Bank qualifying match next week. It's then main event time, and we get the Women's Tag Team Championship match between Alexa and Nikki versus Carmella and Dana. It was a very short match for a tag title match, like very short. They still had like half an hour when it was on, or something. Maybe even they had an hour. And yeah, it was over in a couple of minutes. It was alright. It was harmed a lot by how short it was. Bliss and Cross retained after hitting a modified 3D. It was the same setup as the Blackjack, but instead of a cutter, Bliss hit a DDT instead. They hit that on Carmella for 3. And then to close the show, Triple H showed up to celebrate himself being in WWE for 25 years, which this took about half an hour. And they could have given some of it to Bliss and Cross, but guess not. Hannah starts talking, but is interrupted by Heartbreak, he talks about his 25-year anniversary and how great it was, and he was trying to get Hannah to tell him what his favourite part of Sean's 25th anniversary was. And Hannah just, there were so many great moments. Couldn't think of just one, but turns out Sean didn't have one. So that was pretty funny. They then have multiple video packages after that showing all the bad things, all the bloopers and whatnot from DX and bad things that happened in Triple H's career and whatnot. We then get Steph, Ric Flair, and Road Dogg on the phone to Hannah. So Sean started talking shit about Steph, so Steph told Hannah, and then they started talking about Evolution, and Nate called Hannah. He finished talking to Nate, then Nate called him back crying. That was quite funny. Then Road Dogg called Hannah, and they were talking and whatnot. Got off the phone to them, and Vince McMahon came out, which was cool. He talked about all the bad stuff that happened in Triple H's career. Even the Katie Vick stuff, that was quite funny. They're talking about Katie Vick, which I don't think should ever be mentioned, but I guess if you're taking the piss out of Hannah for it, that's probably the only time that you can bring it up. Vince then says that they need to wrap it up and get out of there. Vince then turns off all the lights of the arena on Hannah. So that was SmackDown. We'll now move to 205 Live. This week's 205 Live is another clip show. Much like last week with Brian Kendrick, this week it's Ari Daivari. He looks back on his Anything Goes match with Oney Lorcan, and he also looks back on the Bret Hart vs Stone Cold match from Survivor Series 1996. So that was this week's wrestling in a nutshell, really. It was an okay week. Impact was alright. Hopefully next week's Impact's better. Raw was decent. Being the Elite is good, because it always is. Dark was also pretty good. The Cody match on there was very, very good. Dynamite was good as well. I reckon it was nearly better than NXT. I don't know. It was good. It was really good. NXT was also really good. I don't know what show was better. I need to start really thinking about that. I might have to go back and watch them and work it out. NXT UK was a clip show, so it was, yeah. SmackDown was alright, and 205 Live was also a clip show. But, yeah, so that was that. I'll see you on next week, I guess. Hopefully Carl's here with us next week. I might try to find somebody to replace him if he's not going to be here for a little while. But he should be back next week, I'm hoping. I'll have to keep talking to him and work it out. So, goodbye, everybody.